Hi, it's Tony Cavalier with this Wednesday evening version of Weather Extra here at WSAZ.com. All summer long, as we were in drought conditions, we had familiar shots like this with no clouds on the horizon. Southern Ohio Medical Center weather cam on Wednesday evening indicating just some ice crystal clouds up at jet airplane level. But these are the types of clouds that you often associate with an arid air mass that has a lack of humidity. Keep that in mind because last week we traded the desert atmosphere for the tropical atmosphere and we wound up with rains and flooding in parts of the area. But now if we put the big picture together, the satellite across the country, you can see a couple of interesting features. On the Canadian-US border, there will be a series of waves of energy that will be moving from the west coast toward the east coast. There's the chance that a little spoke of energy could come in on Sunday night with a brief shower or thunder shower in our area, but high pressure is keeping that activity mainly to the north. Now, we're watching the tropics at this time of the year. It was last week that a storm came out of the Caribbean Sea and turned into a ferocious hurricane named Helena. There is certainly the sign of more tropical moisture forming off Cancun out in the Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico, but any activity will be squelched to the south over the next week by that same high pressure. So Florida in line for some tropical rains. Even Myrtle Beach, I don't believe much moisture will be able to make it that far north if you're doing some vacationing there. Out over the open Atlantic Ocean, we do have a very active season that's going on right now. Coming off the African continent, waves of energy and moisture move and oftentimes turn into tropical storms and hurricanes. And here on this Wednesday evening, we have dual storms. This is Hurricane Kirk, a major hurricane out over the open Atlantic Ocean, and hot on his heels, his sibling sister Leslie is a developing tropical storm likely to turn into a hurricane. But here's what's going on in the Atlantic Basin. The high pressure, which is usually parked near Bermuda, St. George would be, of course, on the island of Bermuda, instead is 2,000 miles farther to the east than normal, over toward the African continent. So what happens is, rather than storms heading up the eastern seaboard, they're curving way out to sea. And in fact, the trajectory of these storms is more toward the British Isles and toward continental Europe than anything. Now again, there will be some moisture coming out of the Caribbean Sea and heading into Florida, but a pattern like this, the Atlantic storms head toward Europe. We watch the Caribbean Sea for some rains into Florida, but that basically robs the continent of anything in the way of important moisture. And that's what the European model is suggesting. Tomorrow, day number 1 of apple days, we're looking south of the Kentucky-Virginia border for a lonely shower or two. Scroll ahead to Saturday, we of course have the Pumpkin Festival in Milton continuing and old-fashioned days over in Greenup. Marshall's Homecoming, wall-to-wall sunshine, and those sunshiny skies also over to Stillwater, Oklahoma, where the Mountaineers have a big game in the Big 12. But you get the idea. Through Sunday, we're in great shape. Now, Sunday night, there's the chance of a shower, thunder shower, while we watch Football Night in America. Folks, that's our lone chance of rain. It's a chance on Sunday night. Lone chance through next week, Monday, Tuesday of next week, all the way to Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. No rain on the horizon. In other words, a very dry atmosphere dominated by high pressure, keeping fronts on the Canadian-US border and keeping tropical moisture at bay. So the daily rain snapshot has us Friday for apple days, old-fashioned days on Saturday, and the Pumpkin Festival on Sunday, indicating dry weather. Sunday night, chance of a shower, thunder shower. There will be a shower, thunder shower, especially north of Charleston, but that's our lone risk of rain over the next 7 to 10 days. And in fact, the artificial intelligence run of the European model out to 14 days suggests, yes, we've got a chance of some rain on Sunday night, just a chance, but overall a very dry pattern across most of the country. Pacific Northwest getting in on some northern Pacific rains and the Gulf Coast getting in on some tropical rains, but typical of the dry season across America. We should figure to have a very dry period over the next week to 10 days and maybe 2 weeks. So apple days begin on Friday into Saturday. Daytime temperatures near 80 degrees with sunshine. Sunday dry. Sunday night into Monday morning, chance of a shower or thunder shower. And speaking of the dry season, next week's dry weather with sunshine will be coming accompanied by daytime temperatures in the upper 60s and low 70s and overnight lows in the 40s. Not quite frost in the pumpkin yet, but a fall back to temperature expected next week. That's my very latest. It's Weather Extra here at WSAZ.com.